Today I wanted to talk about 9,000 thoughts a day and how that can be success fuel and a gauge for where we're at. How do we control our thoughts? How do we get control of them, and what kind of impact are they going to have on us? Well, they have a massive impact on us. I worked with a young man a number of years ago, and we were in a call center. And this guy his story had a big impact on me. He had been really depressed. He was in his 20s. He had been so depressed, he was thinking suicide. But he said he was too chicken to try and do something that would actually hurt himself. And so he decided to walk until he died. And he walked about 8 miles. And when he started, his mind was racing. It was against him. He's having all these negative thoughts. He's in a really down spot. And after he walked about 8 miles, he was about ready to collapse, but he started feeling good. So when he got this job, he made sure he was about 8 miles away. And every day he would walk 8 miles to work and walk 8 miles back home again. And so he found a way to shift his thoughts. This 9,000 thoughts a day, that would be about 8 thoughts a minute. Some researchers say that it's more like 20 to 50,000 thoughts a day. So we won't go into that. We'll just work with 9,000 thoughts a day and 8 thoughts a minute. That would be if I'm thinking about something, but it'd also be if I'm having feelings, emotions, or attitudes. Just reflecting on something that's going to count towards a thought, because those thoughts are going to impact your body, every cell in your body. 100 million cells, they say, in the average body. And every one of them is linked together in a neural network. And they listen through the unconscious direction. They listen for guidance. And so whether we know it or not, we are steering our life and towards success with every thought we have. And so how do we impact our thoughts? Well, of course, our thoughts are affected by the filters we have that have been put in place by our experiences. Some of these most significant experiences are from when we were so young, we don't have cognitive memory of it. And so these experiences end up being part of our reference for the next decision and the next decision, the next decision, and the next decision. And most of us have seen some adult who will have a tantrum, a childlike tantrum, and other things that happen to each of us that we would rather not happen, we would rather not feel. And so what we can do with the neurosciences, neuroplasticity, meaning that our beliefs, our structures, our belief structures, our filters by which we see the world, which is very unique to each one of us, these can be rewritten in adult wisdom. And these emotions, which have been stored away because we weren't prepared to deal with them at the time, and have caused these beliefs that are not serving us properly, these can be removed and us be left with the great lessons we learn as we go through the challenges of life. So when we do that, we can clear a lot of that chatter in our mind. But the thing is, the unconscious requires constant communication. That's why it draws on these old, outdated lessons that have never been updated. It's kind of like having an operating system from a 1990 computer, okay? And remember dial-up? And it was so slow. Every time you go to save, you had to save your files often, regular basis, every time you had done enough that you didn't want to lose anything, and you pull out a book and read because it was going to take so long to back up. That's our outdated operating systems that don't serve us properly, that have us being upset at something. If we're upset at something, then it's because there's a program running inside of us that we can relate to a situation. Every time we get upset, we have an opportunity to get something updated and fixed so that we understand nobody can make me upset. I have to decide to be upset. And so that's coming from something inside of me. And every time it happens, we have an opportunity to fix that, or we would just keep getting the opportunity to fix it or live it. The unconscious requires constant information. And so all of our lives, until we learn how to take care of it, it's just feeding off of those old lessons that have most of the time, unless they leave you giddy happy, have been disappointing and bring on sadness, or a feeling that's something different than elated. So then we get these things cleared out, and then what? We have to be visualizing what we want. We need to speak only what we want. We need to see only what we want, never what we don't want. Never complaining, never negative, because then we're giving those lessons to our unconscious. And so things like prayer, meditation, positive things, when we're not saying something positive to our mind, we should be feeding it something positive. And if we start to feel any kind of an emotion of emptiness or a negative emotion, then we can move that towards the positive pictures and what our objectives are. That includes like, oh, can I do this? Am I good enough? Any of that. And these are things that in the neurosciences that we adjust, because if we take out and we remove those old pictures and we take those old negative messages out, it makes a difference. But the unconscious is still going to be hungry and need to be fed what it is we want, where we want to go, who we want to be. So this is exciting stuff. This is the kind of things that we can do. And at a time where people are worried about their jobs, worried about what's happening in the world, going stir crazy in the house, this is an exciting time where we can get a lot out of this. So that's my message. That's what I want to say, is that we can learn to be in charge of those thoughts that guide the ship, the big tanker in the water, which is our unconscious, which can go far and do a lot. We can have control over those thoughts, but we don't want to be the captain at the wheel, asleep over the wheel. Okay, so these are really important things that are available and can be done. Have a great day. Bye.